Hi, it's Sean Haynes with the Ag Center and Agri CFO. Thanks for coming back to hear the dulcet tones of my voice, and let's get going into it. Prices continue to stay high, up about 3 to 5 cents across the board this week. We're still testing that 260 range on the average for 4.5 weights. And it's falling all the way down to heavier weights. 7, 8 weights is still in the 230 range for crossbred cattle. Natives, 230 to 288 range. Even saw some stuff go for $3 a pound. Cow pairs, $1,500 to $3,100, $2,300 average, still kind of the same range. Got some good moisture back east in some of the larger cattle states, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, which is helping some of the grass conditions there. So which should help maybe ease the ability to have cattle back there. So we'll see what that effect that has on the markets. And then, it's also helping with planting speed as far as corn going in, which, with the price of cattle right now and a little bit falling feed cost and cutout staying high about 301 to 284 for choice select. It looks like the beef market's still pretty solid for right now. The only thing that looks like it may be pulling away from profits is the cost of these crossbred calves at the ranch side. They're in the $400 to $450 range, probably traveling up to $500 if you ask anybody else. And then also, range conditions really good, lots of grass up in the hills. That's also pushing grass rates up on the rent side. So we're seeing some stuff, it's up 20, 30% from prior years as far as what they're leasing grass for. Prices look good. Costs to feed them look like they're coming down a little bit, and the retail price on the backside looks to be holding as well. So if all that holds up, we should still be profitable. That's all I've got in beef markets. Thanks. That's the quick and dirty on beef in California, and now on to interest rates. Home mortgage rates and jumbo mortgage rates continue to move up about 1/4 point to 0.2% across the board. Still ranging from 6.25 up to 7.25 range, much higher than prior years. On the real estate side for ag rates are also up a little bit. Floating rates are still in the 7 to 8% range for operating debt or higher. Equipment debt 6.25 to 7.5%, 8% for longer term rates. Ag real estate's about the same as mortgages. It's in the 7 to 8% range for long rates. And it continues to push up about 1/4 point this week. On the backside of this interest rates, these bankruptcies are up 1/3 from where they were last year, 30%. Some people say as high as they were in 2008. You got flat wages, which are higher with increasing inflation, or at least holding inflation. That's been biting into household incomes as well, and you're seeing credit card debt at U.S. households up about 250 billion from last year, and increasing, people putting groceries on their credit cards. So we'll have to see where all of that kind of puts. But to me, it points to a downside recession in the near term. Good for agriculture in general, because we're contra to the U.S. economy. As the economy falls, U.S. dollar gets a little bit weak, which makes ag exports more lucrative and helps us out. So it's kind of weird to be rooting for that, but that's usually how it works out. So, and if the information on interest rates wasn't enough to keep you up at night, let's talk about the dairy business in California. Dairy prices kind of in that flat area to slightly declining range of $17 to $18 for the next 3 to 4 months. There's going to be some downside pressure for the next 60 days with all these cheese inventories back east and built up with really cheap milk. Butter has popped up a little bit, but that cheese inventory and that powder inventory is really weighing down on the market. So we'll have to get some export movement before things really pick up. That puts guys into a loss scenario for the most part for the next 60 to 90 days. So we'll have to see how that goes. Good news, we're getting some feed price relief. Corn looking like $55, $60 in the field versus last year being the 70, 85 range. Almond hulls kind of fallen down below the $200 point per ton for the first time in a while, about 190, 185 delivered, which is equal to about $75 in the pit. Hay prices are down. Wheat and oat hays, down the 150 to 180 range, and you're getting some relief finally even on the test hay side, looking at 385 to $400 for alfalfa. So as those kind of work their way in, you should see some relief a little bit from that side, and then also just on the beef calf side, these beef crosses at the dairy getting 420, 450 at the drop, and $150 to $170 for bull calves on the Holstein side. And then cull prices are 90 cents to $1.20 at that extreme end. So a lot of guys are getting a lot of money for the beef side. But it looks like in the short term, at least 3 to 6 months, it's going to be kind of a loss scenario for most folks. And that's the story on dairy. And now quick and dirty on all the crops activities going on in California right now. On the nut side, not much has changed in the walnuts. Still depressed prices, guys in a loss situation. Really don't have any idea what the crop size is going to be, not till late summer. Almond side, the subjective estimate came out about 2.5 billion pounds, a little higher than people were expecting possibly, especially from the low side estimates. And you're seeing a little bit of push down on the prices this week because of it. May have 9 to 10 cents per pound on most nuts. Almond hull sides, down to about 190, 185 per ton. Full swing for hay production. Hay looks pretty good, as far as quality goes. Test hay's in the 385 to 400 range, but coming off. You're looking at 150 to 180 for your grain, hays, your wheat, oat. Cherry harvest, full swing. Crop size looks great, probably 40-50% larger than last year. Sweet potato side, still depressed prices versus the cost of putting them in, and we have got this late season, so those guys are struggling a little bit. And then just tomatoes, still trying to get them, the last of them put in. This heat's really made it difficult. We'll see where that ending crop acreage ends up. Cotton acreage is down. It's pushed up price a little bit, but still way off of last year's $1.10, $1.20 price versus 86, 87 cents per pound. And then last but not least, just berry crops. Strawberries in full swing. Prices are still holding at $16 for organic, $10 to $12 for conventional cartons. And that's the long and short about crops. So thanks for listening to all that. And if you find any other crops or other information you want to hear about or think we can provide value on, please give us a drop and let us know what that is. So thanks for tuning in. And if you want to hear more, see more, please subscribe to the Ag Center, and you'll be able to see me once a week. Thanks.